Global talent visa is a very complex subject. So I'll cover all sort of categories within global talent visa. And if you have further query, we'll give you an opportunity to ask question. Thank you, Natalie. Yes, he has done a great job. I would say that. Thank you. I'm very, very lucky to have a very talented wife who can also cut my hair. Very kind of her. So Diana has joined. She is a specialist with AY&J Solicitors, just doing global talent visa applications. I would admit I'm not the best expert in AY&J Solicitors talking about global talent visa. So what I have done is I have brought in the expert who knows global talent visa so well within AY&J Solicitors. I am not the best expert, but we have a best of the best expert in global talent visa at AY&J Solicitors, and here we are. So Diana has been very kind enough to join on weekend just to share her knowledge, experience, and expertise around global talent visa, and she will be answering some of your questions. Great, thank you so much, guys, joining in. The way I do it is quite different. I'm more entrepreneur and layman than a lawyer. I like to simplify things. So I prepared a very nice slide, PPT, and I will email it to you once we finish this webinar. And I've simplified so much so to make it more sense to you. It's such a complex subject. So I've categorized, I've simplified as much as I can so that you can understand that, what it is and how it works and how you can make that work for yourself. Now, before we start talking about global talent visa, the core question I ask attendees is to find out why they are doing what they are doing. Because, when you take some action, you go to a webinar, you try and understand the nitty-gritty of the visa application. But before you do that, you want to find out why are you doing what you are doing? Why do you want to get global talent visa? Why, in first instance, why do you want to be in the UK? Is it the right destination for you or not? And the reason of doing that fact finding, and probably 3 minutes of, or 2 to 3 minutes of that brainstorm, probably give you much more clarity and see if you are investing your resources in the right direction. So I love to do this exercise with you, and I would invite your feedback. Let's start the presentation, and here we are. So what will happen? What will you get in this webinar? That's very important, because you will be spending around 45 to 50 minutes with us. What will you get? It's more important to look after your time and your interest today, because we will be speaking with 30, maybe 50 of you. And if you spend 1 hour, it's 30 to 40 hours of the investment, together. So I want to make sure that you get the best of the best out of this 1 hour. We answer as many possible as questions today possible and give you the best value out of this webinar. So what will you get? Number one, we just will do short exercise so that you get clarity why you're doing what you're doing. I'm sure you have a very clear idea, but when you have that clear purpose behind your action, probably it becomes much more easier to get what you want to get. Number two, we will discuss the various endorsing body. What is global talent visa? The benefit of global talent visa. Number three, I will discuss about the eligibility in each category. Number four, we will discuss a little bit more detail about TAC Nation, because it's quite common endorsing body. And number five, we will have Q&A. So that's question answer session. So this is what you will get in this webinar. At least, you will get to know what is global talent visa and how, if you do fit in, and where do you go and get the more information if you need. You will get everything in this webinar in next 50 minutes or so. Is that okay with you guys? If yes, if you're happy with this agenda, just type yes. So I'll get going and make sure I do not waste your time. This is what we want to do today. Is that okay with you guys? Just say yes into chat box. So, I know I'm on a right path and I've designed something which is of your use for next 1 hour. Is that okay with you? Please say yes in the chat box if you agree with this agenda. Thank you, Avtar. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Great. Thank you. So let's deep dive into why do you want to come to the UK? If someone can just volunteer and just tell me why do you want a global talent visa, or why do you want to come to the UK? So if you have that clarity, then it becomes much more easier to achieve what you want to achieve. Nothing is impossible. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I came to UK in 2003 as a student, and I did not have money to even pay for my UK visa fees in 2003. So you can imagine I did not have £150. So I had to borrow about £1,500 to pay for my visa fees, came to the UK with some little bit of living expense, and here we are now. So now we are a multi-award winning, legal 500, 10 plus years experience, a specialized UK immigration law firm based in central London, and 4,000 plus clients and 1,000 plus reviews on Trustpilot and Google. Now that clearly says, if you have your why clear, if my why was very clear, I wanted to be better for myself and my family. I literally hated the poverty, and I wanted to come out of it. And then you can imagine if someone did not have a visa fees to pay for UK, and if someone can become a successful entrepreneur, multi-award winning legal 500 solicitors firm, then I'm sure the people on this webinar are probably have a better opportunities than what I had in 2003. So yeah, why do you want to come to the UK? Yeah, Emne Muhammad, thanks. It's work opportunities and health and education for kids. So I think this is quite a common theme I get. I think so. Majority of my overseas skilled staff, they want to come to the UK for betterment of their life. It's a better lifestyle. It's quite common theme, and better future for their kids. And better future for themselves as well. So when you come and settle down and get settlement and British passport, you don't just do good for yourself, but because it's a developed country, probably you are doing good for your generations to come. Yeah, so opportunity in tech industry is great. Definitely post Brexit, there is a lot happening here in tech industry. Dhiren, I agree with you. Anything else? What is your why? Some people, they just want to run away from where they are. Probably some of them, sometimes they want to run away from their in-laws. It happens. So I get to know, I don't get along with my in-law very nice. So I just want to leave the country. So I get that, as a reason as well at times. I was just joking, guys. It happens. People do leave country for various reasons, for betterment of their life, better lifestyle, good education, better healthcare, a better infrastructure, better system. This is sort of a theme I get. Setting up global design practice outside of India, like Zara did, for example. Saket, yeah, Zaha, yeah, perfect. It's a good reason. So if you have your motivation clear, and you say, look, this is why I want to do what I want to do, and then you will find a way somehow, anyhow. Either you find a way, you make a way. This is what I believe, and this is how I do it. Either we find a way or we make the way. So great. Thank you all for your input. I believe UK is better because of its stability and security. It's a very business-friendly environment, I would say. If you want to start a limited company in UK, you can do it within 24 hours. You can open bank account in few hours, not 24 hours, even less than 24 hours. You can have your business bank account up and running. And there is a sense of security. So if I was to go out for my run, even middle of park, there is nobody out there. I'm safe. In my heart and mind, I'm safe. I don't need to worry too much about it. So there is a sense of security. If my 12 years old son, if he's going to his school on his own, I'm sure he will be back to home by 3 p.m. And that I'm 500% sure. I don't need to worry about it. There is also a transparency and simplicity. There is a diplomacy and influence as well. And it's very, very helpful when I'm here and I'm living here, when I'm working here. So it helps me a lot. So these are the four few reasons why we do what we do. So just bear this in mind, write it down. If you don't do anything, just write down your reasons today in a piece of paper or probably in your diary or somewhere on the wall, that this is why you want to do what you want to do, and probably then it will gear you up in a right direction to achieve what you want to achieve. And I really, really wish you all the best in your endeavors, whatever you want to achieve. So how do we get global talent visa? This is very important. This two-stage process. Stage number one, you get an endorsement from the relevant endorsing body, and we'll cover that. That's the most important part, of course. And the stage number two is, once you get the endorsement, then you apply for the UK visa. So that's how it works. But the most important and the most complex part is getting the endorsement from the endorsing body. So what I have done, as I said, I love to simplify things. So I've simplified as much as I can, and I've been preparing this slide for a while now. I've invested a lot of hours to simplify it. I've collected and collated the information in one place, and what I've done, I've put the web link on it, and we will send you this PPT so you can click on that web link and go to the relevant web link of your choice or relevancy. We won't be able to cover every endorsing body in much more detail because it's, as I said, it's very complex and there is a lot of information because of the time constraint. We won't be able to cover all endorsing bodies, but what we'll do is we will cover the most famous endorsing body, which is Tech Nation, in little bit more detail. But anyways, you will have an opportunity to ask questions, and if you are interested, we'll give you an opportunity to speak with one of us after webinar as well. So I'll give you my email address. All you need to do is just draft one email and send it off to me, and we'll arrange a call with you. Is that okay with you? Are you happy with that? Great. So global talent visa, there are the benefit of global talent visa is you don't need any sponsorship. You don't need to invest any money in the UK, right? It's completely independent visa category. You can work literally anywhere and you can run your business. You can work as a consultant. You can work as a self-employed. You can start your own business. You can work with other employers. You can change employers without any specific permission from the home office. So it offers much more flexibility in terms of working rights. And it offers much more freedom when you come to the UK in terms of carrying out your economic activities. And for that reason, I love it. And number two is no investment requirement. You don't need any sponsorship from any company. You can bring your dependents. So in dependents, it's your spouse and your children under 18-year-old. This is who you can bring over as your dependents when you get global talent visa. Number three is you get settlement, which is permanent residency, either in 3 years or 5 years, right? We'll come to that. So we'll explain when and how. So 3 years or 5 years, you get permanent residency. It's probably one of the fastest way of getting permanent residency in the UK if you get it in the 3 years route. So these are the few benefits I can think of. Now, getting the endorsement, that's the complex part. Now, some of you can get the endorsement quickly if you have some, if you meet some of the criteria. Some of you might have to work bit harder, right? It might be a bit complex. So let's cover the endorsing part. This is the most complex part of entire global talent visa. Right. So what I will do, the reason I prepared this PPT for you, I will email you this PPT. You can click on this link, web link, and this will give you much more information as to who can qualify for global talent visa. So as of now, we have a huge audience. And of course, I believe we have audience from every walks of the life. So not just technical or digital industry. We will have, probably audience from arts, science, engineering, research. So I have prepared this slide just for you. So you will get this slide and you click that link, web link, and it will give you the relevant information as to which endorsing body applicable for you. Great. What I have done, as I said, I've simplified this. It's very complex. I could not get my head around to it, but I've tried and made it like as simple as possible. Any layman can also understand this. So endorsing bodies, there are majority six endorsing body, 6. Okay. Now I have categorized them in 4. There are 4. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Lu. Right. So Arts Council. The third is Royal Society, Royal Academy, and British Academy. Now, and the fourth one is technician. I'll explain. There are color coded. So we have blue, we have orange, we have gray, and the green. Why did I do what do I? So I have chunked them into 4 categories, all 6. So these three endorsing body, which is Royal Society, Engineering, and British Academy, is quite similar, right? The way they work. And as I said, I've done web link to it. So if you fit into one of the criteria, if we don't cover too much about that category today on this webinar, once you get the PPT, then you can click on that link, and then you can read a little bit more about it. There are various ways of getting your global talent visa and getting to know about global talent visa. Number one, you research yourself. You click on that web link. Number one, you research, read on their website, read on the Home Office website, and self-research, self-taught, right? Number two is, of course, you speak with a lawyer, likewise ourselves, and we provide a bespoke, comprehensive legal advice and solution around your question and query. Number three is you can go on to YouTube, you can go on our website, and you can find, or probably you can go on website of other lawyers' website and try and find out as much possible as information. And number four is, if you have administrative staff, probably your PA or someone administrative staff, you can instruct them, and they can do a little bit more research about, around this category and help you with the information. So there are various ways of finding right information. There is nothing impossible in this world, I would say. You just get to research it. What I've done, I've provided you the right link so that you can get to the relevant link and get the information you need. Now let's look at the UKRI, which is UK Research and Innovation. It's for people who are in science and innovation. So and basically this UKRI, I'll just cover that what is UKRI in next slide, but it's basically for science and innovation applications. Arts and Council is for people from arts and culture application. I'll talk a little bit more detail about this Arts and Council in my next slides. Royal Society is for natural and medical science applications. Royal Academy of Engineering is for, of course, engineering applications. British Academy is for humanities and social science. And Technician is for digital technology applications. Now, if you are here on this webinar, and if you can relate yourself into one of this category, once you receive the PPT, you can click on that relevant link and you can read more about it. But as I said, I've done chunking, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 chunk. I will discuss about each chunk in my next slide. Great stuff. Arun, you will come to know about UKRI and Technician in my next slide very soon. Great. Let's move on. Let's talk about UKRI, which is UK Research and Innovation. So as I said earlier, this UKRI is for someone in science and innovation, and you will qualify, you will be eligible for endorsement if you are working on a research grant, right? So if you have been awarded a research grant in the UK, and if you are, the funder is approved by UKRI, then you will qualify for this. Now, if you have been funded, right, by one of the probably funder, and if you want to go and check whether you fit into this criteria or not, you will find the link here, which you will get it in the email after we finish this webinar. So once you click on this web link, you'll be able to check whether you fit into this criteria or not, whether your funder is approved by UKRI or not. Then it's much more easier. The people who qualify for UKRI, they don't need to probably instruct us if they don't want to, because they can do it themselves. It's so easy. As long as you have this research grant, it's more likely you will get it, right? It's very easy. You don't need to instruct lawyer for that, I believe so. But in any case, if you need us, always reach out to us. We'll be happy to help. So UKRI is very easy. Then after, let's talk about Arts Council England, right? So they invite applications from combined arts, dance, literature, music, theater, fashion designer, and architect. So I'm sure I have an architect on this webinar today. And again, we have to go back and check on that web link whether you qualify for or not. But I'll discuss who will qualify for Arts Council just to make it easier for you. So these slides are for those who are not lawyers. So I've made it much more easier. It's not comprehensive. I must admit that they are not comprehensive slides, but they are simpler version of the complex knowledge we have online. All right. So let's talk about who can qualify for Arts Council. So someone who is in combined arts, dance, literature, music, theater, fashion design, or architect, if you fall into one of these category, you want to hear my next slide now. Let's go to Arts Council in England. Who can qualify for that? Right. For you to be eligible for Arts Council England, right, whether you fit into one of the category which I've just discussed before, you either an established or have a potential to become a leading artist internationally, right? You must be able to demonstrate that you have been professionally engaged in producing work of outstanding quality and that has been published or performed or presented or distributed or exhibited internationally. Now, this is a mandatory requirement. This is a must. If your work has not been published or performed or presented or distributed or exhibited internationally, then you might not, more likely you will not qualify for Arts Council. Okay, so let's say you are artist, you are an architect, you are a fashion designer, and you are music, but if your work has not been presented, published, performed or distributed or exhibited internationally, you more likely not qualify for this. So, reading this PPT will give you a little bit of understanding whether you fall into this category or not. As I said, this is not a comprehensive legal advice. We invite you to arrange a consultation with one of our expert lawyer to get a more comprehensive legal advice. This is not a comprehensive legal advice. The reason we are doing this webinar is to make you aware of it. This is more about spreading awareness. This is more about educational approach. This is not a comprehensive legal advice. So if you read these 3 points, this will give you a little bit of understanding whether you may not fit into it. But if you have presented your work or performed or published your work internationally, then you might qualify. Then you want to check the next point. Have you been engaged in your professional for last 5 years? Do you have a regular activity of being engaged in your profession? Most likely yes, and this is why you are on this webinar. If the answer is yes, then you need to check the point number 3. The point number 3 is you should be able to show a substantial track record in more than one country. All right, this is very important. Not just in your own country, wherever you're from. Let's say you are in India, Pakistan, or probably Middle East, whatever the countries you're from, or China, whatever the country you're from, it's not just one country. It should not be limited to just one country. It should be more than one country. Or you are developing a track record in more than one country, right? What I haven't discussed about is 2 categories, and let me cover that. Number 1 is talent category, right? So in global talent visa, we have 2 categories. Number 1 is talent and number 2 is promise. If you are promise category, if you fit into promise, that means you are an established leader, right? You have demonstrated, you have track record already, right? You have sound track record, you have proven track record as an industry leader. In that case, if you qualify for the talent, you get settlement in just 3 years. But you have potential to become a leader, right? You are developing a track record, then you might fit into promise category. And if you fit into promise category, you will get settlement in 5 years. So again, let me repeat one more time. Talent is already established, have a proven track record. Promise has a potential to become industry leader or developing a track record. And these are promise category. Perfect. Easy. So now even within this Arts Council, there are of course 2 categories. One is talent, one is promise. And I think when you're coming from overseas, probably your probably main objective is to get a visa where you can work without restriction or little restriction, and you should be able to bring over your family if you have family. I think that's kind of your objective. So probably you might not be too much worried about talent or promise, but this is what you want to know. Someone said, look, I don't have substantial track record in more than one country. Then the next question you should ask yourself is, Are you developing a track record in more than one country? If there is an evidence that you are developing a track record in more than one country, then you will qualify for promise category. You should go for it then. Make sense? If that was to make sense, say yes in chat box now. So I know I'm not boring you off to sleep, right? Because it might be late evening in India now, or probably some Asian subcontinent, and I don't want you to go to sleep. And I don't want to end up talking to myself, because sometimes these webinars can come across quite boring. Right. Thank you, Saket. Thank you. Great. I'm so happy that I am making some sense here. Great. Thank you. Now, when you get global talent visa, it's either 3 years or 5 years. And the beauty is there is no cap. You know, there are unlimited global talent visa. UK government is happy to offer. Very important question. There is no cap. There is no 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 cap. UK government is happy to give as many as possible as long as you qualify. Okay, great. So moving on. And the reason this is important question, because we do some poll as well. We do some questions in between. After a little bit, 5-10 minutes, I'll do a question. So please remember this. There is no cap on global talent visa. Next one. Great. Let's talk about Royal Society, Engineering, and British Academy. Who is this for and how does it work? Now, this 3 category, we have to be very honest, we haven't done many application in this 3 category. What we have done so far a lot is this Arts Council in England, right? We have done that, and we have done Tech Nation a lot, right? We haven't done much in these 3 category. So I don't have much to talk about it, but once you get the PPT from me, you can select the web link. The web link you will get with that PPT, and you can read a bit more. We are always happy to offer our assistance and expert advice as and when required if you contact us later on. But try and see first if you fit into this category or not. So roughly, this 3 category works very similar way, right? Number 1 is either there is a endorsement for academic and research appointment. Number 2 is for someone with individual fellowships. Number 3 is endorse funder, which is also quite tie-in with the UKRI. And number 4 is peer review, right? You might have more question about it. I don't have much to talk on this webinar about this 4 subcategory of this 3 endorsing body. But this 3 endorsing body roughly works same in a same manner, same fashion. But don't be discouraged of me not talking much on this webinar about this 3 category. We found a very few inquiries in these 3 endorsing body category. So I'll let you self-research a little bit. But if you like us to do that work for you, please reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to assist you with a consultation, if that's okay with you. You will get. So if you are a research student, Mr. Muhammad, can you apply? I would invite you to check my PPT once you get that after webinar. Mr. Muhammad, do a little bit research yourself. Try and see if you do think you fit into it. And then you are absolutely right. You will say, look, how would I know? I'm not a lawyer. I need a professional advice. Please reach out to us. We'll be happy to give you assessment. Of course, we might charge fees for that as well. But we'll let you know, Mr. Muhammad. Please do reach out to us after you do a little bit of self-research on this 3 endorsing body. It might cost probably an hour of your time, maybe 2 hours, or if you have administrative staff who can do that for you, please instruct them. They might help you with that. Great stuff. Let's move on to Tech Nation. This is the very common, very famous, very sought after endorsing body. Probably 50% or more than 50% global talent visa applications are from this endorsing body. What I'll do, I'll ask Deanna to, of course, talk a lot about this, because he does a lot of Tech Nation global talent visa applications. So in nutshell, from December 2020, there are changes. So, there will be only single mandatory criteria, and there are 2 out of 4 optional criteria you need to meet. So I'll hand this over now to Diana, and of course, Diana, I'll just do the slide for you, and you know, if you can move this slide, that'd be great. If not, let me know, and I'll do that slide for you. Over to you, Diana, about Tech Nation.
Thank you, Yash. Hi, everyone. I'm really pleased to see that there are quite a few number of people here with us today. So thank you so much for your time. I think, Yash, yes, I might need, I will definitely need help in moving the slides. So if you can help me with that, that would be great. So as Yash has mentioned, we have been having this category Global Talent Visa, previously known as Tier 1, exceptional talent for some number of years now. But since 1st of December 2020, we have had some major changes to the way that this application are actually being considered and decided for candidates or prospective candidates likewise yourself. The important changes that I will make a note of the most important changes that have taken place from 1st of December 2020, and I'll also go through the requirements briefly, and I will also be sharing some of my examples, amazing examples, where I've helped people from all over the world, from India, China, Canada, USA, and many more other candidates. Now, Global Talent Visa hasn't changed in the terms that who can actually qualify for this. So the level of qualifications for candidates has remained the same. So we still have the two categories. One is the the exceptional talent visa, and then we have the promise category visa. The changes that have taken place in December is that whilst prior to 1st of December 2020, you had to meet two mandatory criteria, actually not two, but still one mandatory criteria. Now they've simplified it and brought it to you having to meet one mandatory criteria. I will brief you over that. So if you were to apply as an exceptional talent, then you will have to show that you have been recognized as a leading talent within the field. When if you are applying as a promise, which is more for junior candidates or junior prospective applicants who are just at the beginning of their career, then you will need to show that you have the potential to eventually become a talented candidate if you were to be granted this visa. So you need to meet one mandatory criteria, and then you will have to meet two other criterias, which are not actually mandatory, but you can pick and choose which one was to be for yourself. And that is actually referred as the optionally criteria. Now, the optionally criteria that we have now in place is you need to show a proof track record, either of innovation as a founder, senior employee of a product-led technology company, or you can show innovation as an employee of a product-led company. Now, when people hear about product-led company, they get confused and scared, say, oh my God, I work for a multinational company. I'll say, let me give you an example, like Tata Consultancy, or I would say even maybe even Microsoft. They'll say, well, actually, I'm not sure if I can meet possibly the criteria of a product-led company, if I was to refer you to Tata Consultancy, because they are more of a service-based company. What I want you to actually understand here, it's Tech Nation will not be looking at the size of the organization that you are coming from necessarily, but they will want to see what have you done within the organization for your clients to whom you might have been assigned to do any work, and whether the project or the product that you worked on can be considered as a product-led technology company. So I want to reassure you that even people that have candidates that are working for Tata Consultancy have been able to receive the Global Talent Visa endorsement. Okay, I have helped many of these applicants. Some of them were in the UK on a intra-company transfer, or some of them they were coming from India or other parts of the world. And I brought them, helped them to come here whilst they were working for this big service provider companies. So that's one optional criteria that you could potentially meet. A second one will be showing proof of recognition for work beyond your everyday activity. What does that mean?
Can I just interrupt you for a second? Sorry. So would you please cover the single mandatory criteria which is on this slide, please? If you can just explain this, how one can qualify for single mandatory criteria, what sort of requirements are there for technician for single mandatory criteria which is on the screen now, and explain how people can and what can they provide, and probably what's your experience helping your clients getting this box ticked. Hello? I think we have lost Diana. She should be back in a second. Sorry, just bear with me.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I think I've lost the connection at some point. I hope everyone can hear me. Hello, Yash, can you hear me?
Yes, that'd be great. Probably we have some technical issue. If you can hear me and Diana, that'd be great. If you say yes into chat box. Can you hear Diana as well? Because he's the one who's talking on mandatory criteria of technician now. Please say yes into chat box. Thank you. Yeah, everyone can hear you, Diana. If you can just cover the single mandatory criteria, that'd be helpful, please.
Oh yes, of course I can do that. So the mandatory criteria, what they are saying, or you need to show that you are a leader within the field that you are coming from. It's, I would say, a combination of the evidence that you are submitting with your 2 optional criterias that you need to provide. So it's nothing else more but a combination of the documentation and evidence that you need to provide for the 2 optional criteria. And that could mean evidence that you've led to the growth of an organization, of a product-led organization, as an employee, as a director, or as a founder. Evidence of your any activities that you might have done outside of your everyday employment. I would say mentoring, attending any sort of seminars as a speaker. So it's I would say it's exactly the same sort of evidence that you have to provide as part of your application, with reference to the optional 2 criteria that you need to meet. So
I think
I'm sorry,
Diana, can you just focus on the single mandatory criteria? And is there any way you can start your camera as well? Is there any possibility you can look into it? So probably it might be better presentation. Oh yeah, great. Yeah, probably start that. Yeah, here we are. So, thank you.
Okay.
So you're back now on camera. I'm sorry, I'm just repeating this question for the benefit of our audience. What they probably want to know is, how do you qualify for this leading talent or promise and ensure that you are a recognized leader? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? So single guys, you just need to provide evidence of you being a leading talent in the digital technology sector, or have a potential, right? And this is how, I want to answer one of the question: what is the definition of being a leader? So leader is like someone have a proven track record, and promise is someone who has a potential to become a leader. Okay, so this is simple, right? Either you have a proven track record, then you qualify for talent category with proven track record. And if you have a potential to recognize as a leading talent, then you will fit into promise category. So there is no specific guideline. You need to find out and provide evidence of have a proven track record in the digital technology sector, right, of being a leading talent. And either you need to provide some evidence that you have a potential to become a leader in digital technology sector, then you will satisfy this mandatory criteria. Now, I very much agree and acknowledge that you might have a more question around this. And for that, we will invite you to visit our website. We'll also send you some material after webinar, because in webinar, we have a very limited time and we have few more slides and few more criteria to cover. So I will just excuse myself and move on to next one, which is we will talk about the 2 optional criteria. So it's, you need to fit into 2 out of 4 optional criteria. So I think it's becoming easier and easier to get global talent visa. So previously it was a bit more complex. Now it's simpler from December 2020. Diana is back on the webinar. Diana, can you hear us?
I can. I'm really sorry. It doesn't seem to be the best day on my internet connection.
So before I move on to the 2 optional criteria, do you have anything to say about mandatory criteria?
No, only what I said earlier. I think the majority of the questions that are coming around the mandatory criteria is, what evidence do I need to provide and what does that mean? And I will repeat again what I've said a few seconds back. The evidence you are providing, it's very similar. In fact, it's a combination of the evidence that you are providing for your 2 optional criteria out of 4. Okay, so please
what
don't
evidence
be
can they provide for mandatory criteria, single mandatory criteria?
So for the mandatory criteria, they can provide, let's say, reference letters from their previous employers, current employers, that they have worked on certain projects. They can provide evidence that they have attended as a speaker to various conferences, nationally or internationally, or they might be able to provide. Is it mandatory
or it's optional? Are you talking about optional or mandatory?
No. I'm also talking about the mandatory. So the mandatory criteria, the changes within the mandatory criteria, it's a combination of documentation that you are providing within your optional criteria. Okay.
Oh, brilliant.
So it's nothing more different than the documents that you are provided. So if I was to brief you how I have been meeting for the last 3 months, the mandatory criteria for some of our candidates or some of our applicants is, I'm literally providing reference letters, which are already being used for the optional criteria, or are the same reference letters that providing as part of the 3 mandatory reference letters. So it's nothing more different, but the documents that you are providing with your optional criteria.
Great.
Okay, so that's actually what's mandatory.
Thank you so much. I'm just interrupting you. I do apologize because I want to cover a lot in this webinar.
No, it's
just to pick up few questions of our audience, and they are asking about age. There is no age limit. There is no age criteria. There is no minimum age. There is no maximum age. So please don't bother about your age, whatever it might be. You can apply for global talent visa. That's number 1. Number 2 is, there is no English language requirement for people. I know they are probably global talent, but they have issue of passing English language test. They are talented. They are scientists. They are like top of the top. They are genius. They are kind of Einstein in their field, and they have trouble with English language. Perfectly fine. You do not need to pass or take any English language test to apply for global talent visa. I think so. These are 2 important piece of information, which is very important while we are moving on. So when we talk about this single mandatory criteria, if you look at that, it's more about just providing references. It's providing references. So if you provide reference on a piece of paper on, of course, your current employer or your previous employer or the clients you have worked with, and if it justify you being a leading talent in digital technology, or you have a potential to be recognized as a digital leading talent, then you might most likely to qualify for that. But of course, we will then provide later on some professional legal advice if you're interested. Let's look into this 2 out of 4 optional criteria. What I would do is, I think, Diana, I would request you to pick up the 2 common optional criteria we work with many candidates, because it's a kind of a pattern we have recognized with all our years of experience doing this global talent visa. And what Diana will do is pick the 2 most common criteria which we are dealing with when we help clients. So probably you may want to divert your focus there. You might qualify for other optional criteria, right? So there are 4 of them. You just need to fit into 2. So if you fit into 2, you will make the global talent visa application for this optional criteria. So Diana, may I please request you to, it's okay, Saket, you can leave. We can have dialogue privately, of course. You have my email address, and you will also get the PPT, but drop me an email and then we'll have a call later on. Okay, I'm sorry, Lou, you are losing the platform. Okay, fine. Let's focus, Dina. Would you please cover the 2
Yes,
common
certainly.
optional?
So the most common optional criteria that I have came across for the past, let's say 24 months. I will focus. I'll give you more information about that. It's proof of recognition for work beyond your everyday activities, and that includes mentoring, whether you are mentoring students from various colleges, students from various universities, mentoring startups, various businesses, so various technologies businesses. Then that's one. So one is mentoring. What you need to bear in mind here, it cannot be an ad hoc mentoring. So it has to be a structured mentoring. Now, I know I came across many of my clients. They say, well, if I'm mentoring, let's say, colleagues of mine, I'm in a high position within my company, but I'm mentoring colleagues. Well, colleagues is actually quite excluded from this sort of evidence. So I suggest you focus your you focus your attention in anything beyond your everyday today activities. Then another option or another sort of example for you how to meet this optional criteria is whether you have been writing, you are writing various blogs, or you have been entertaining various technology blogs. Maybe your GitHub account, it's quite great, so you work for a company, but then on the side you are also maintaining a GitHub account where it's quite visible. That's also part of your everyday today activity. So that's the type of evidence that you can actually provide. Or some of you might be attending various conferences on technology as a speaker, okay, whether nationally or internationally. That also will be part of your proof of recognition for work beyond your everyday today activity. So you see, you've got a various range of evidence that you can pick and choose as to how to meet this. Now you will ask me, well, how do I meet this, Diana? You meet these optional criteria by providing reference letters. So let's say if you have been mentoring a certain number of university or colleges or businesses, it doesn't have to be a huge business, it can be just a startup, but you can show that you have brought that startup from let's say from the beginning until somewhere where now they can actually function on themselves, and you continue to mentor them. Then you ask you ask the people that you have been mentoring to provide you a letter. So university or colleges will be, let's say, the dean of the university or someone within a high rank that will be able to provide you a reference letter. And the same will be for your startups. If you are mentoring startups, then you will ask the directors or the CEOs of that particular organization to provide you a reference letter as to how you've actually helped the organization to grow and what exactly you did. I'll move now on to my last optional criteria, which is very common within the application, is an applicant has made a significant technical, commercial, or entrepreneurial contribution to the advancement of the sector. Now, what does that mean? That focuses on the projects that you have done for your employer or for your organization or for the business that you might have created, because not everyone is actually a technical candidate. We do have commercial candidates, and then where they have established businesses. And how you meet that, again, you are meeting this through references that you are obtaining either from your clients to whom you have helped with the project, or you can ask your employees or anyone within your organization to provide you references. Now, your references have to be written specifically for this category, immigration, for this visa. So it cannot just be a general reference that someone was to provide you, and it has to basically you have to shine in that reference. Okay, so it has to be, it has to show that you are one of the best candidates or one of the best employees, or one of the best workers you have they have had in the organization, or you still working for that organization. So this is actually how you can meet the two optional criteria in order for you to have a success or to have a successful application.
Great. So you have covered all majority of optional criteria, or you want to say a little bit more about the remainder of that?
I can touch base on the last two criteria, which I must say are not very common. One of them, the very first one, it's actually have a proven track record of innovation. Okay, when we talk about innovation, not many candidates, to be honest, are meeting or being able to provide evidence as innovation. Now, innovation, the threshold imposed by Tech Nation on innovation is quite high. They are looking for people, let's say, that have a certain number of patent applications. They are looking for people that, let's say, are within the academia. They're more research-based. So it's quite difficult. So the threshold on innovation is quite high. That's why not many people will be meeting that. Now, the last optional criteria is for those that love writing and love being within academia. So let's say if you are a contributor to in the field of academic contribution, like if you are doing any research within the technology, if you have been endorsed by someone well known within the academia, then this is probably an option category that you could choose to meet. Now, I must say, I probably have had last 24 months, maybe 2 candidates that have chosen the first and the last optional criteria, but I must say, like I was saying, they were like genius, and it wasn't an issue in them showing innovation, and it wasn't an issue in them providing evidence, because they were literally everywhere in the media. So there wasn't much work for us to do when we were preparing this case, apart from just making sure that their references do contain the relevant information that Tech Nation is asking. So I would say Global Talent Visa, it's for everyone. If you can actually are willing to work hard in providing the evidence that Tech Nation is looking for. So that's what I have to say about mandatory and optional criteria.
Great, thank you so much. It was very, very helpful, and we are getting few questions. We'll cover that in a Q&A next, and that's where we are heading to. But before we do Q&A, let me just touch base on the timeline. So, average preparation based on our experience, it takes between 12 to 24 weeks. I know 24 weeks is a lot. But I mean, 2 to 3 months is quite common. Sometimes it goes to 6 months as well, preparation time based on our experience. And this is a first-hand experience preparing plenty of global talent visa applications. Not every application is same. Some application goes into 6 months preparation time. Some application we can prepare and finish in within like 4 to 6 weeks. It depends how fast you can get us the evidence and information we need to prepare the best possible global talent visa application. We don't take every application as it come across our way. We make sure that you qualify for it and you meet the criteria. Then only we will pick up your application. If you are to instruct us, we don't just take the application with your instruction. We have to make sure you fit into it, and then only we will start working. It takes between 2 to 3 months or up 6 months. Now, decision time is quite good. Stage 1, if it's UKRI, you might get it in a week time. And it might take up to 8 weeks in some of the peer review kind of application, but Tech Nation endorsement takes 28 days, so it's 4 weeks. After you get the endorsement, then stage 2, it's like 2 to 4 weeks. You can always go for the premium, super premium route of application, and then you get the fast decision from the home office, and off you go and get the global talent visa. You come to the UK with your family, start working wherever you need to work. Good. So the next one is, of course, the Q&A. So let's answer, a few of your quick question. I will start with Kshitij, question. Diana, do you want to cover this? The Kshitij question says, Tech Nation focuses on 2 skill, technical skill, business skill. Can you share some more information on business skill category, please?
Yes, 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 of course. So business skills is mainly for those people that act as more of a business development. So being technical, rather than being technical, let's say developer or maybe engineering, they look after the lead, so the implementation of a project until it reaches within the market. That's within the business skills. Also, you need to show that you have looked after a particular pipeline of your clientele and you have helped to the growth of the organization. Now, the growth of the organization can mean anything and everything depending on the country where you are and depending on the size of the organization. Probably the latest I did, it was someone again for a service provider, a big service provider. And yes, he had experience in leading the organization through the sales and generating income for that particular organization. But again, business skills, you have to make sure that the organization you're working for, it's actually a technical a technology company. Now, business skills will also include, let's say, if you set up or you've run or you've worked and sold off your business, your technology business, that will make you an entrepreneur or a founder of an organization. And that will, of course, again, you will go under the business skills. So that's about the skills. But you still have to meet the same mandatory criteria and the same two optional criteria. Okay, it's just that the way that your case is presented is different compared to someone that it's a technical.
Great. Sagar, just to answer your question, does SEP business consultant fall under talent category? I think we did one application for a person named Bhavin from India, I believe, SEP consultant.
Bhavik, yes,
Bhavik.
we did. Yes, and he was under the talent, so exceptional talent.
Brilliant.
And he was a SAP consultant actually.
Great, Sagar. So that's the answer to your question. But again, we need to do a detailed assessment, Sagar, before we take your application. If you're to instruct us, there are a lot of subjectivity, in this application. This is just to make you aware and discuss the, basic criteria. We can always do a bespoke consultation before we take your case. Just to answer a question of Muthu, yes, you can switch from ICT to Global Talent Visa in the UK. That's easy question. Anyone except Visit Visa, someone who is on Visit Visa can switch into Global Talent Visa these days. Am I right, Tiana?
Not for visitor visa, not on a visitor visa. So visitor visa still
Except
has
Visit Visa, people can switch in the UK.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, please do check with us if you have any specific question. But ICT definitely can switch into Global Talent Visa. Tier 2 ICT can switch in the UK to Global Talent Visa for sure, Muthu. That's answer to your question. Manor is asking, can you please let me know how reference letters required? So let's talk about reference letter. It's quite common question, and it's on our website as FAQ, Manor. But let's cover that in this webinar. It's quite important question we get asked.
So the reference letters, I'm pretty much sure you must be aware that you need 3 mandatory reference letters, regardless of the remainder of the documents, and then you bring up another 10 documents proving how you meet your mandatory criteria and your optional criteria. So that will make you roughly in the region of 13, 14 documents that you need to submit if we were to add the CV and the personal statement. So I'll say 14 documents. Now, whether it's a mandatory reference, whether it's a normal reference in order for you to which you are going to be using for your mandatory or optional criteria, I would say you should be the most important information that you need that your letter has to contain is who is writing your letter, details about the individual. So you will have to give example rather than adding a CV, 3 pages CV of the referee that is writing your letter. You better have a paragraph about the individual who is writing. How do they know you? What have you done and what exactly you have done so that they are actually writing the letter? Why do they see you an exceptional talent or a promised candidate? What is your future plan within the technology, whether in the UK, whether outside the UK? They will have to say anything about yourself. Okay, so what's your plan? Where do they see you in the future? Okay, so I know some of you, I'm sharing the experience, say, well, I don't want to share my future with whoever writes my reference, but it's within the criteria that that technician is asking. So they will need to know what's your plan for the future. Then something else that will have to contain is how you are going to be benefiting if you were to come to the UK on this visa. So you can say, oh, look, what's your plan actually for the UK and why you've chosen the UK here, and how the technology sector is going to be benefiting you from your skills. And then I will be literally a summary of their letter, why they are writing for you this letter, and probably what I've missed here. Make sure your letter does have the very first couple of lines. This letter is written in relation to an application to or for technician as an exceptional talent. Okay, so do not make sure you do include that, because that will have to appear in your letter. And then in addition to that, your referee should end the letter with his full name, contact details, so email, LinkedIn profile if they have one, and phone number. Okay, now probably what I'm going to share now with you is you might not have known, but previously there was a requirement that all reference letters, especially the 3 mandatory letters, should be issued on a company letterhead. And these letters should have been issued by people within high position like CEOs, CTOs, and so on. Now, this requirement is no longer in place. So the technician have decided to relax the rules. But when you are coming down to who is writing your letter, depending on the size of the organization, you should actually reach out to the most senior person within the organization. So I'll give an example. If you work for Microsoft, will never give you a letter on the company's letterhead, and don't expect like CEOs and directors of Microsoft to write you the letter, but you can reach out to your manager within the Microsoft, and he can write you a personal reference letter, okay, without having to be on a letterhead and without having to be written by a CEO.
I know. Thank you, Diana, for comprehensive reply on reference letter. It's much more detailed and very comprehensive. And you know what? It can get overwhelmed. I think I'm getting dizzy now. Digesting all this. It's so much. I mean,
yeah, there is a lot.
I respect that. It's so much of information, and we don't want to overwhelm you. So we'll take a rest here. We'll move on to the next question now. We are getting some question about civil engineers, MD homeotherapy, etc., etc. What I would suggest you guys is, once you get my PPT, there is a web link, so please check yourself. If you want us to do more research on it, provide you with a bespoke legal advice around your circumstances, you will need to arrange a consultation with. Someone asked us how much does it cost. We'll cover that in the next slide if that's okay with you. It cannot be the same company. The 3 reference letters should come from a different company. That's the answer to your quick question. The 3 reference letters should come from 3 different company, please. That's answer to the question about the bespoke profile check, whether you fit or do not fit. Please reach out to us after this webinar. You will get the contact details and an email address to reach out to us in a minute, please. So I think we will end a Q&A now. Now I have one simple request, and this is, I ask, we have success stories to share with you now. It's a short 90-second video testimonial. Would you guys want to have a look at that? If you are interested to have a look at our success stories, then please say yes into chat box now. So we'll just play that, which is probably 60 seconds. And then after, we'll explain you how we can help you if you are interested, in our contact details. If you want to reach out to us, we'll provide that as well after just 60 seconds. Do you want to hear that? If you're interested, just say yes, and we'll just play for 60 seconds, and we move on to the last part of this webinar, provide you with the specific contact details you can reach out, so that you get bespoke, comprehensive legal advice around your specific case, so that you get global talent visa. So yeah, I've got few years. I need 2-3 more yeses so that I can play the video. I don't want to waste anybody's time, even 60 seconds. This video testimony is very, very close to my heart. It's such a beautiful video testimonial. It has so much of a comment and feedback about what we do, how we do, and it just gives me goosebumps when I even I probably have watched it probably 1,000 times by now, but it gives me goosebumps of listening to our clients' feedback. So I'll share this with you right now. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
name is Harish Rane.
My name is Anand Patel.
My name is Steve Barr.
They really care. When we reach out to them, they understand the moment of urgency.
They were completely different and they made me feel reassured.
After talking with them, it made me feel safe and confident.
AYJ sounded like they knew what they were talking about.
They've been in tune with your requirement. They understand what your needs are.
It's their professionalism. It's the personal touch. They've made me feel that it was no longer my problem.
Really smart and think logically. That's very important. And their logic is very clear.
They have stepped up each time there has been a requirement and have just delivered.
That level of care, that level of attention to detail and willing to go out of the way really surprised us.
AY&J Solicitors are a cut above the rest. They knew exactly what they were talking about. They knew the law inside out.
Go back to, I hope Deanna will be back to this slide. So that's now just take a note of the email address or just book a call with me and then we'll do it. But the best thing is I want you to just drop us an email first before you arrange a call. So if you drop an email, the email address is, I'll just put it in the chat box now, contact@ayjsolicitors.com. So if you drop an email with your full name and your phone number and the endorsing body that might be applicable for you, right? All you have to do is your full name, your phone number with international code, please. If you have international code, just drop an email right now. So it's contact@ayjsolicitors.com. You can put it to the attention of myself, Yash, or Deanna, and we'll pick up this email from contact@ayjsolicitors.com, and then we'll reach out to you, and then we'll also, if necessary, arrange a call with you, if that's okay. First, one of my colleagues will speak with you, get a little bit more information, and then if necessary, they will put you in touch with us, or if necessary, they will also arrange a consultation if that is necessary. So depending on your circumstances, will then help you how to progress with your global talent visa application. All I suggest is just open your email right now, just type your full name, put your full phone number with international country code as well, because we don't know where you are typing your email from. At times I just get 079, but I would not know what is the country code. So please put the full international country code, your full phone number, the best phone number, your full name. Just drop an email. You don't need to write anything else. Just open your email, new email, type to contact@ayjsolicitors.com. Just copy that and put your full name, full phone number, and then we'll reach out to you if that's okay. So it's contact@ayjsolicitors.com. Drop your email now, and then we will speak with you. We'll call you. I will call you, or probably Deanna will call you, because you are on this webinar. Just write down from webinar your full name, your full phone number, and just your full name, phone number, and webinar. If you type that, just drop that email right now, and then we'll reach out to you a Monday or Tuesday, if that's okay with you. Please drop an email right now. If I get the email today, you will get a free phone call from us. That's guaranteed, almost guaranteed, because we do normally 300 plus VAT consultation. We because of the time constraint, we can't speak with all clients. So we do get about 50 inquiries a day. So we have a big team who deals with all these inquiries. But because you are on this webinar, and if you drop an email now, we will help you and honor you and respect you for your time. Spending with is almost 1 hour. That's really valuable. I really appreciate you guys being here. Drop an email and we will then call you, your full name, your full phone number. Drop an email today. If I get the email today on contact@ayjsolicitors.com, either myself or Deanna will call you, if that's okay. Great. Manohar, final question from my managers who are from 3 different companies. Yes, kind of yes. So that's answer to your question. If you senior managers, appropriate senior managers from 3 different companies in the UK will be helpful. It can be from overseas as well. Thank you so much. I've taken a little bit more time, but I hope you found value. If you found value, just say yes into the chat box, and any comment how we can improve next time. If you have any comments, just drop a comment in the chat box now. And I really, really appreciate your time. From me and Deanna, she is not here. She has probably got lost connection, but thank you so much. Thank you. If you have sent email, we will reach out to you. Promise. This is promise. You will get a call from me or Deanna because you have dropped an email. We will do a little assessment, Srivnath, and then we'll call you for sure. Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate all your time being here. Really appreciate. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great evening. Where you're from, have a great day, great evening, and speak to you later. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Reach out to us. Drop us an email. If I receive email today, we will definitely, help you guys. Thank you so much. It's contact@ayjsolicitors.com. Drop an email now.